Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, introduce my name is Raihani Fadila, MBS class B. Good morning, dan with NPM 2101280051 Syariah Business Management Major. I made this video to fulfill my mid-semester exam assignment with a conversation course. Well, in my video, I want to tell you an experience that I will never forget in my life. Well, on a very sunny morning around 9 o'clock, my family and I planned to go on vacation to a village in the Lampung area. Because at the time my school was also on holiday at the end of the semester. And my father had work in the area. So, in the sense that the time and place fit, we rushed away using my father's work car. Our hearts are very happy to be able to have a long vacation in peace and satisfaction. My family and I can see the beautiful and cool scenery because our right and left, we can pass through the forest with rubber trees beside us that are towering to the top. And not only rubber trees that we passed, but we also passed dense palm trees along the way. The atmosphere was really tense even in the daytime. But after a while it started to get dark. The red sun started to set. The atmosphere was getting darker and colder. To be with my family and stop at a gas station and the side of the road to break the fast with my family and continue with doing the Maghrib prayer. At the prayer room at the gas station, after we finished breaking the fast for Qadha and prayed Maghrib, we immediately continued our journey to get to our holiday destination faster. We didn't stop here. We still passed palm trees and rubber trees along the way, because indeed in the area around Palembang to Lampung, the farmers there cultivate oil palm and rubber trees to support their families. It was already dark. The cold wind, the lush trees coupled with the quiet street added to the eerie atmosphere that made my skin crawl. After a long journey, around 1 p.m. I was somehow still awake and not sleepy, so I was still walking around the district road. But at the moment I saw an old hut which was not to include into the oil palm plantation. There was a glimmer of bright light from a burning torch. I also thought the hut must have been made for restoring farmers who were tired of working to maintain plantation. But I saw again why are there some men who don't know what they were doing in the old hut by lighting the torch at 1 o'clock at night. I took again, was it a farmer who was guarding the plantation? But it's too late at night. Why are the men still guarding their gardens? Is there often death in their gardens? I took. And after I looked again, one of the men, with his body facing the palm plantation, in his hands there was a candle and a coconut shell which he was holding in the direction of the movement of his palm together like he was worshipping something. Then continued by sprinkling something from the coconut shell. I was silent for a moment and didn't want to think negative. My journey continued until we finally arrived at our original destination, namely at the sugar cane factory. The area, which can be said to be seal, and oil palm plantation. We also rest for a while in that area so that we could wake up too fast. I start to fall asleep, family start to fall asleep, and also my parents in my father's work hard. The night was getting late until past 3 a.m. I was suddenly at the building by my mother. I woke up and I took it was time for sahur. It turns out my mother woke me not only to have breakfast together, but my father suddenly pointed towards the top palm plantation with a look of fear and trembling as he said to me, "There is something strange, Fadila." And I looked back behind the car window. Unexpectedly, with my own eyes, I saw a blazing fire still floating in the air, in the midst of the dark and cold night wind. My mother and I were so shocked. We read the prayer in silence. Unexpectedly, after we watched it again while reading the prayer, over time the fire grew bigger and just disappeared. My mother and I also wondered in our minds, what was that? What was that? We didn't even want to talk about it at the time because of the shock. After that incident, when we got home, my mother and I immediately talked about the incident to my father and I. It turns out that in some areas there are those who call it Banaspati. There are also those who call it ghost torch, kamamang, etc. And it is said that the sign of kamamang is said to be seen hovering from a distance, approaching one person or snake from one tree to another. Do you believe in the existence of the Kamamang ghost or Banaspati is the most popular in the Central Java region. Local people believe that the appearance of this Kamamang always brings disasters such as disaster and death. The appearance of this fireball ghost is also believed to be able to bring a disease that attacks a person's soul, and there is also a reason for revenge against someone. So Banaspati is sent to the injured person. I don't know. Only Allah is Almighty over everything. He is the one who created the earth and sky and its contents. Our job is just to be obey and keep praying to be kept away from bad things. And always remember that Allah is the great, all-seeing, all-hearing, and almighty over everything. May Allah always protect us from bad things. Amin. Ya Rabbal Alamin. Well, that's all the story I can tell. Hopefully, I can be learned from it. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.